Welcome to Lecture 2 of the GMP and Quality Fundamentals series. In the first lecture, we talked about the big picture. We explained what GMP, QC, QA, regulatory affairs, and R&D mean and how they are connected. In this lecture, we go one level deeper. We focus on how GMP actually works in daily operations. Today we will talk about core GMP principles, SOPs, documentation, deviations, CAPA, change control, and audits. These are the elements that make GMP real in everyday work. GMP is based on a few simple but very powerful principles. Once you understand these principles, GMP starts to make sense. One of the most important ideas is that you should do what is written and write what you do. If something is not written down, in GMP it is considered that it did not happen. Another key principle is prevention. GMP focuses on preventing mistakes instead of fixing problems later. GMP is not about perfection. It is about control, consistency, and traceability. People are the most important element in GMP. Machines and systems usually do exactly what they are programmed to do, but people can make mistakes. That is why GMP puts a strong focus on training, qualification, and clearly defined responsibilities. In a GMP environment, if a person is not trained for a task, they are not allowed to perform it. Training records are therefore just as important as test results. Standard operating procedures, or SOPs, are the backbone of GMP. An SOP is a written instruction that describes how a specific task must be performed, step by step. SOPs exist for almost everything, such as cleaning equipment, sampling raw materials, performing tests, handling deviations, or releasing products. SOPs make sure that everyone works in the same way, even if different people perform the task on different days. This ensures consistency and reproducibility. Let us use a simple example to make this clearer. Imagine baking a cake. An SOP for baking a cake would describe exactly which ingredients to use, in which quantities, at what temperature the oven must be set, how long the cake must be baked, and how the kitchen should be cleaned before and after baking. Without an SOP, every cake would be different. With an SOP, the result is controlled and reproducible. Documentation is one of the most critical elements of GMP. In GMP, documentation is proof. If it is not documented, it did not happen. Documentation includes batch records, test results, training records, cleaning logs, deviations, and CAPA reports. Documentation allows full traceability, meaning we can always answer the questions: what happened, when it happened, how it happened, and who performed the activity. During audits, missing documentation is a serious issue. If documentation is missing, it is considered a GMP finding. This means that auditors will officially record it as a non-compliance, even if the product itself looks perfect or works as intended. In GMP, documentation is not bureaucracy. It is protection for the company, the product, and the consumer. A deviation is any departure from an approved procedure, specification, or expected result. Examples include performing a step differently than described in the SOP, a temperature being outside the defined range, or a test result failing specifications. Deviations are normal and they happen in every GMP system. The real problem is not the deviation itself, but hiding it or ignoring it. When a deviation occurs, it must be reported, investigated, and documented. The goal of deviation management is not to blame people, but to understand what went wrong and why. This leads us to CAPA, which stands for Corrective and Preventive Action. Corrective action fixes the immediate problem, while preventive action addresses the root cause to ensure the problem does not happen again. CAPA is a key tool for continuous improvement in GMP systems. Another important concept in GMP is change control. In a GMP environment, changes are not made casually. Any change to a process, equipment, supplier, material, or test method must be evaluated, documented, and approved before implementation. Change control ensures that improvements or changes do not introduce new risks or negatively affect product quality. Audits are used to verify whether GMP systems are working as intended. There are internal audits, external audits, and inspections by authorities. Audits are not exams and they are not meant to punish people. They are tools to identify weaknesses, improve systems, and ensure compliance. Using the cake example again, an auditor might ask whether the recipe is approved, whether the oven is calibrated, and whether baking records are complete. Even if the cake tastes perfect, missing records or unapproved procedures would still be a GMP issue. Strong GMP systems require a strong quality culture. People must feel safe to report mistakes and deviations. Quality is not the responsibility of one department. It belongs to everyone in the organization. Quality professionals must be comfortable making uncomfortable decisions, especially when quality standards are at risk. To summarize, GMP is not about paperwork. It is about control. Documentation is not bureaucracy. It is protection. GMP helps ensure that products are safe, consistent, and reliable. In the next lecture, we will focus on testing, laboratories, and analytical methods used in quality control. Stay tuned for Lecture 3.